It's confirmed as we have multiple massive Toronto Blue Jays updates to go over today ahead of the game tonight, in which the Toronto Blue Jays, for the first time in 32 years, have a chance to win the World Series. And this update changes everything as we look ahead to the game tonight. We're going to break down exactly what it is and discuss how this is exactly what this team needed. But not only that, we have some inside comments from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and some others revealing some very interesting information surrounding not only the team's preparation heading into the game tonight, but other details that you're going to want to stay tuned for, folks, as well as a ton of other updates on this episode. But before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been an absolute beast with the support. It truly means the world to me. And folks, take a quick breath and enjoy the fact that we have a potential opportunity here to win a World Series. Let's dive right into it now. Obviously, the man I'm talking about is George Springer, and obviously it's going to be a very crucial game for the Jays to win. You're going up against Yamamoto, and all eyes are on George Springer. And John Schneider says here, midsection injury. He came close to starting game 5 per the Blue Jays manager John Schneider, who added that he's checked every box physically so far. Sounds like it's a strong possibility that that he's in the Blue Jays lineup. And then, of course, it came out later that Blue Jays manager John Schneider confirmed that Springer is expected to return to the lineup for game 6 of the World Series per Bob Nightingale. So, folks, he obviously missed game 5 with oblique discomfort. He missed the last 2.5 games. It all started, of course, in game 3 when he went out with in that marathon of an 18-inning game. But, folks, things are, this is exactly what this team needed. Now, they could have went out, and I have full faith in this team winning the ball game without George Springer in the lineup. They've done so, multiple times throughout the year, sometimes throughout, and of course, last game of the playoffs. But this is what this team needs. Now, we're heading into I can't even begin to fathom or begin to even remotely imagine what tonight's going to be like, both watching from the television side and being at the stadium. But having the guy who signed with this team was one of the first mega free agents to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. He really has been through the ups and downs of this team's postseason, stretches and really only downs up until this year. He deserves to be in there. And the fact that he's good to go and was close to coming in game 5 is fantastic. We saw him ready to pinch run for Bichette in game 5, which is fantastic. And I'm just super happy for him. And this is even more of a jolt the team could use because most importantly, this highly highly likely move of him being in the lineup gets rid of the potential disaster that is having IKF in the lineup once again. And of course, I'll dive into a lineup and things like that in a minute. But folks, Springer is good to go. Again, was on the fence and they were juggling what's best for him, what's best for the team. It didn't matter because they won the game anyway. And David Schneider hit that leadoff home run. And the question now becomes, do they try to get Schneider back in there following a great game? Probably not, because it's against a righty. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. He is going to be in the lineup tonight, according to Bob Nightingale and John Schneider himself and all other sources. But folks, hopefully this can be another great game. And at the end of the day, George Springer, he is an absolute beast. And I'm super happy that he gets to come back. But also on the baseball side of things, that 18-inning game would have been over, I think, a lot earlier if George Springer wasn't in the lineup. I want to dive into a few different things now because there's a lot more to go over today. And there was a lot of comments that came out from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., some comments that came out from a lot of the players. And this one really hit hard because obviously us as fans, we've been watching this team for, depending how long you've watched it, but for myself, since I was, a little kid. And now, of course, being able to have a chance to witness a World Series, especially sharing it with you guys. I've been doing YouTube for a few years. The players feel the same, obviously, in a much different, light. I'm doing it from the YouTube side of things. They're obviously playing the game, and us as fans, we all have our various emotions regarding it. He said, no one slept, despite how late it was. Everyone's just so excited. We kind of want the game to start today, even if no one got any sleep. That's how much we're ready for the moment. And it almost gives you chills. And you can see here, several Blue Jays hitters noted afterwards it was the first time they faced Yamamoto in person, talking about his last start, and that they expected to apply that experience in the next encounter, which comes a mere 6 days after the last one. And this is crucial because, again, they're going up against a pitcher that they hadn't seen a lot of. The MLB hasn't really seen a ton of. Of course, he's been in the league since 2023, but, the Jays especially, right? He's an elite player. The Dodgers are in the NL. The Jays are in the AL. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys that, but I'm just saying for the fact of, they don't play each other a ton. And their approach is going to be vastly different. It's always easier when you actually see a guy and feel what his stuff is playing like and what it does in comparison to other guys you face. The delivery is a little unique, obviously, and there's some deception there, but it comes down to putting together a good plan and seeing how he's going to attack. And I'm excited to see it because, the Dodgers, on the other hand, they went up the second time against Trey Savage and they were worse. And now, worse against Savage than the first time. That's because, of course, Savage didn't have his stuff the first time, right? He used a splitter 10 times, whatever it was. He was using a slider, didn't have command of any of his pitches. especially his splitter. Folks, Yamamoto was elite the last time. They saw his whole repertoire, and something not really people talking about here, not many people rather are talking about, is yes, Yamamoto was a beast. Yes, he went 9 innings. He went 9 innings. This team got to see him an entire 27 outs, which makes, sets this up very, very well. And I'm super excited to see how they adjust tonight. Everyone's talking about Yamamoto being their ace. We have our ace on the bump, a 2.0 version of Trey Savage, as Alex Rodriguez said on the Fox broadcast. I mean, it's partially true, right? Like, Gausman is a veteran. He's been elite this postseason, and part of his performance was kind of overshadowed by Yamamoto's performance and wiped out by how good Yamamoto was and some struggles there near the end of the game. But for most of that game, too, it was ace versus ace. Who's going to score first? And I think if you keep that same approach, you make the adjustment. The Dodgers haven't been hitting the splitter well at all. You can win the game. Now, on the Dodgers side of things, you can flip it over and say they just saw a bunch of splitters. They're prepared to take more, splitters down in the zone, take them for balls, and actually hit them from Kevin Gausman. Very different arm action, very different splitters. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. And there was some other reflection going on about the Trey Savage thing, and acknowledges that it's going to sound funny, but his big moment where he saw, the outing for Trey Savage be special was the first at bat, which was the initial comebacker that he kind of bobbled and he flipped it to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. so calmly. And I remember telling my friends, like, okay, he looks confident. He's not nervous at all. That was verbatim what I said, and it ultimately worked out. And he is one of the best pitchers in the league right now, because you can, it's crazy to say, but you can say that, right? And of course, he hasn't done it over a full season, but he's done it when it matters. And at least one of the best pitchers in this postseason, I'll say. I don't want to go too crazy with the takes, but folks, I mean, he got Ohtani. He did all these different things. What a game that was. But now all eyes are on the big game tonight, and it's crazy. Again, no one slept, talking about all these different things. And the most important thing here is John Schneider saying that George Springer is going to be in the lineup. But even beyond that, what that lineup will look like, I assume we're going to see some interesting ones. And again, I would presume similar top to as usual. Of course, George Springer, Nathan Lucas, Vladdy, Bichette. Like, that's going to be the 4. I think Bichette slides back to second base. And then from 5 to 9, you keep rolling with it. Varsho, Kirk, Berger, Ernie, Jimenez. And I think that's how you do it against Yamamoto. The same guys who played them the first time, you have that approach now, and something to keep an eye out on. And this is very, very important. Now, remember, Bo Bichette did not play Yamamoto in game 2. Or at least didn't start the game. I believe he came in at some point, the 6th inning or something like that. But the game was so long ago. But we're at a point now where, and I just checked, Bo Bichette did get one plate appearance against Yamamoto, but he did not start that game. He did not start. They were, resting his knee. It's going to be a different look. He has less experience against Yamamoto than some of the other guys because he didn't play in the whole game. But at the same time, this team is going to be ready for a different beast of a lineup having Bo Bichette in there. But folks, that'll wrap it up. Everyone's finally starting to get healthy, at least on the position player side of things. And take it in, take a breath. For the first time in 32 years, we're playing not only a game at Rogers Center for the chance to win the World Series, but for a chance to do something that a lot of us have never seen in our lifetime. If you did see it in your lifetime, you get to see it for a second time, third time, and enjoy it. See you guys later. You guys mean the world to me. Cheers. You guys are beasts.